Hello, my name is Peter Parfit. Welcome to Newbrick Workshop. It's an exciting day today. We're going to announce a brand new Parf product. I think everyone's used to using their track saw cutting station created with the Parf guide system, of course, or perhaps their MFT3. And one uses tall dogs and shorter dogs. The tall dogs are for the guide rail and the shorter dogs are to push your stock against. But actually it sometimes becomes a bit of a pain having to move these dogs around. For example, if I wanted to do a cut over on this side, then I might decide that I need to put a dog in there so that I can now do a cut here. And then sometimes perhaps I'm going to do a shorter cut like that. Well, either I've got to move that dog along, or I've got to get another dog to go in there. And so it goes on. Now, right at the very beginning, when I first envisaged the design of the Parf guide system, I had in mind some form of fence that would supplement the shorter dogs. Well, we've just created it. And here it is. This is the UJK Parf Fence. And when you buy one of these, you get 4 items. You get the fence itself, which is 60 centimetres long, 600 millimetres. And this is 10 millimetres thick. And on it are a series of holes which match the 96 millimetre centres that we have with our custom workbench or with the Festool MFT3. Now we've got additional holes here, and these are at centres of 32 millimetres, so that you can perhaps adjust how close this might get to your kerf line. More of that in a minute. You also get a pair of dogs which are specially created for this system. They fit inside the holes in the fence. They're then absolutely flush at the top, and there's sufficient sticking through underneath to register it on the bench top. There are 2 of those. And then there is a stop which can be deployed wherever you wish if you're cutting something to a given length and you want to repeat that length. And that can be tightened up so it's held in place. In case you're not familiar with the way these Bristol handles work, they work on a ratcheting basis. You put it in place, and if it's not tight enough when you get round to the limit of movement there, pull it outwards towards you, go back, and then down again, and that's then tight. So the handle can be moved independently of the actual tightening mechanism if you pull it out this way. Simple as that. Now, in use, this can be positioned in any way that suits you. It only requires these 2 dogs to fix it in place. And I'm going to have mine, there's my kerf line, and I'm going to have mine close to the kerf line, which would allow me to cut reasonably short pieces of material. There's one dog in there, and there's the other dog in there. Once those 2 dogs are in there together, this becomes very difficult to remove. So the trick is hand in from underneath, push up very slightly, and out comes the dog. And you can now use this. This is 10 millimetre thick stock, so it's perfect that this is only 10 millimetres thick. I can now use this as I wish for positioning my stock. Now, if I want to do repeat cuts of a given length, then I would measure, put a pencil line at the appropriate place, adjust this the first time so that that pencil line lines up with the cut line on my guide rail. Put the stop in position, lock it, and that's now locked, and I can now make repeat cuts. Now, we have deliberately not attempted to put a scale on this because it can be positioned in a number of different places. That scale would become confusing after a while. So the idea is that to do repeat cuts, you measure, pencil mark, and then position the stop accordingly once the first cut is set up. Now, I have here the final pre-production prototype, which Axminster sent to me several weeks ago, so that I could really test this out thoroughly. and they're allowing me to keep this, which is really useful because I think that 2 of these are going to be absolutely invaluable. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to position this one on this side of my guide rail. Now, my cutting station can be used for any stock at any time, and I don't need to mess around with the small dogs anymore. Wherever I need to do a cut, I can do this. I can put a stop on this side, a stop on that side, and so it is very flexible indeed. And I think from now on, when you look at my track saw cutting station, you will see it configured similar to this. Now, this particular track saw cutting station I made over a year ago, and it's been pretty well beaten up. You can see by all the saw cuts all over the place, glue stuck to it and everything else. And I think when I make my replacement, I'll probably make it just a dash longer at this left-hand end as you look at it from here, just so that the Parf fence is not overhanging. But this isn't the only use of the Parf fence. Now, with 2 of these Parf fences set at right angles, you can use them for all sorts of setup work, jig work, or whatever else. Now, they're pretty solid, and I've only got just the 2 dogs in, and there's no way that these are going to move at all. Now, these can be used in conjunction with the Parf Super Dog, the reason being that we have the chamfer there, the chamfer ring fitted here, and the Super Dog has a reasonable amount of depth to it. And so I can push this through, fix the Super Dog in place, use one of these ordinary anchor pieces like so, and I can now put my guide rail against here. So I have now effectively incorporated the Super Dog in with this arrangement. Well, I hope you like this new Parf product. Many thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.